You're walking down the hall one morning and a parent stops you. Not to complain this time, not to question a policy, but to share how their child lit up last night explaining a math strategy from class. That one moment tells you everything. When families feel connected to the school, the kids win. Instruction gets stronger, the culture gets warmer, behaviors improve, which we all hope happens, and teachers feel supported instead of isolated. And yet, family engagement is still one of the most underused levers in education. Not because we don't value parents, but because we often treat engagement as a side project instead of a core strategy. Today, we're flipping that script. Let's get started. Hi, friend. Are you ready to move into a leadership position? Do you have interests and ambitions that you want to pursue, but feel like you don't know how to take that next step? Maybe you want to start your own coaching or consulting agency. I'm Mel, and I help educators define their career path through correct mindset, knowing your options, and getting prepared for your career transition. I will show you how to level up your leadership skills, share your expertise in a new way, create impact on a larger scale, and put your leadership in motion. As an educator for over 20 years, I started to feel underused and like I had more to give. I knew when the time had come for me to leave the classroom and affect change on a larger level. Now, I'm ready to help you determine where your talents and skills mesh with your passions and interests, put your leadership in motion, and move into that next phase of your educational career journey. Let me help you define your career path by having the right mindset, knowing your options, and getting prepared for that next leadership position. So power up and put your leadership in motion. Welcome back to the show, everyone. I'm your host, Dr. Mel Vandevort. And today I want to talk a little bit about family engagement and how it can transform your school. You may have heard the statistics that family engagement is one of the strongest predictors of student success, academically, socially, and behaviorally. The U.S. Department of Education and some other sources all point to the same truth. When families are partners instead of spectators, everything changes. But here's the bigger why. Family engagement isn't about getting parents to show up. It's about building those bridges of trust so that students feel surrounded. It's about moving from compliance-based involvement, such as those volunteer hours, signing papers, attending the events, to actual relation-based engagement. That kind of engagement says, we're in this together. Your voice really does matter. Your child matters. And we're building a school experience together where everyone can thrive. And for you as a school leader, engagement becomes a culture strategy as well, an equity strategy, and an instructional strategy, all at the same time. When families understand the learning, then there's alignment with your vision and trust with your team. And you get fewer fires to put out, plus you build those partnerships. Today, I'm going to walk you through 10 high-impact, research-backed strategies that you can start using right away. I'm going to cite some sources with links in the show notes, so you can click on those and look up some of this information for yourself. So let's get started. Number 1, personalized two-way communication. Families don't really want communication all the same way. And that's been a struggle for us recently as well. We have families who want it one way. We have families who want it a different way. You're never going to get it out there in the perfect manner because everybody wants something different. So maybe use a quick survey to ask how they want to receive that info. Text, call, email, and in some cases, you can use your student information system to send out emails. Now, we use all the different ways at our school. Some people say we communicate too much. Some people say we don't communicate enough. Just remember, you can't please everyone, so don't try. Just communicate the best you can so everybody knows what's happening. And try to have a way where you can make it two-way. Most of those things that I mentioned are one way, but you want parents to be able to communicate back to you as well. And that engagement is going to come from that reciprocity. You ask, you listen, respond. And don't let language be a barrier or an excuse for not communicating. There are tons of tools out there that are going to make it easy for you to send information home in different languages. Number 2, make sure there's some accessible and flexible participation opportunities. Families participate more when schools offer flexible hybrid options. We recently got we call it CPA, which is our Parent-Teacher Association, off the ground. We had our first meeting, which was hybrid. So we had an in-person option or a virtual option. And it was fairly well attended, but more on the virtual end of things. And the last meeting we had was completely virtual because none of us could be in-house at that time. And it was very well attended. We had well over 20 people attend. And for our school size, that's pretty good. Think about some different options for different events. Offer some in-person, maybe virtual or phone, or some recorded sessions for different things like conferences or workshops. And let people volunteer in ways that fit their schedule. Prepping materials at home. We have an extra space for our CPA to store their items, and they can come in whenever they want to. They just have to check in, and then they can take care of getting things prepped on their own schedule. Maybe there are some digital roles that you can have filled by letting people volunteer that way. You could create an engagement menu so families are able to choose what works best for them. Number 3, build trust through relationship-centered events. One of my sources, Kind Schools, encourages shifting from traditional conferences to family events centered on student learning. Host student showcases, some hands-on learning nights, or family STEM or STEAM nights. Invite personally, not just mass emails. Research shows that invitations from a real person dramatically increases turnout. We had an open house recently because we do continuous enrollment at our school. And one of the things that I asked is, did you reach out personally the day of? And that was a fail on our part. So going forward at our next open house event for our enrollment, we're going to do that. We're going to call all of the families that responded and personally invite them and remind them about our open house event. And get your teachers involved. Each teacher can choose 5 families every month for a personalized invitation. And don't forget about your culturally responsive engagement opportunities. Representation matters. Edutopia notes that families feel more connected when school events reflect their cultures, their languages, and some of their traditions. So co-create those events with families instead of just planning for them. Ask what would make engagement meaningful in their context. And it might be a really good idea to form something like a cultural and community advisory team or something to help guide those events and let your families be part of that planning. Then that takes some of that load off of you as well, which frees up your time as the building instructional leader to focus on instruction because you're not thinking so much about all of those events. Now, I'm not saying hand it off completely. I'm saying let others shine in that moment. Let others use their gifts and their talents to help you and take some of that load off of you. And share that student learning with transparency. Families want to see the learning. They don't want to just see grades. Use some digital portfolios so families can peek into the classroom at any time. Host student-led conferences or showcase nights where students present their work. This deepens that parent understanding of the academic expectations and hold your students accountable as well. Your teachers can send a what we're learning this week snapshot, something like 1 paragraph once a week to let families know what's going on in the classrooms. And it is so important to empower your families for learning at home. Families want to help for the most part. They may just not know how. It's important to send home information like some simple guides or some rubrics so families can support homework or projects without confusion. And be transparent on what homework is being sent home, because that's when there's some miscommunication and some problems, when parents don't know what students are supposed to be finishing. And you can always make it fun for families. Something like a monthly family learning challenge, something like reading bingo or math games or STEM at home. And it's always advisable for teachers to send home some kind of home connection card or information after every unit so parents can extend that learning past that unit. One of the greatest ways for family engagement is to close that feedback loop and have some shared decision making. Engagement grows when families see that their voices truly do matter. So use things like surveys, focus groups, or advisory councils. Here's the key. Report back to families on what changed because of their input. My principal has been really good about that recently. He has sent out a few surveys, he's gotten those results, and he's communicating those results with families. He's also communicating when we actually make a change based on their input. And it doesn't have to be something separate. He sends out a principal's newsletter every single week. You can just add it to that. And let me tell you, you need to recognize and use family strengths. Families come with a powerful set of skills. Things like photography, carpentry, storytelling, tech talents. We are redoing our library and we had to lay new carpet, so we bought those carpet squares. We had someone who was phenomenal, a husband and a wife team. Their kids go to our school, and oh my goodness, they were fantastic at laying those squares, and they were showing us how to do it, and we whipped that out in no time because of their skill, their talent. And the wife, she hung some of our wallpaper that we were using to cover the old paneling, and now it looks so amazing in there. She also provides all of our spirit wear because she has a print shop. So make it a priority to partner with any family who offers a service that you can partake in. They offer that service. We need that service. So why on earth would we go outside of our own district for the spirit wear that we need anyway? Number 9 is equitable engagement practices. The U.S. Department of Education emphasizes that equity must guide engagement. This means that engagement isn't optional. It's a core part of your school model. But it cannot be one way. You have to, as a school, as a building, engage outside of your school walls. Community centers, churches, apartment complexes, go where families are already. We're a private school, and our students are all required to get community service hours. I'm talking pre-K through 12th grade. They all have to get community service hours. Now that looks different for our pre-K than it does for our seniors, of course. Our pre-K is all in-house, and it's little things that we can let them do so that they come away with servant-led hearts. And I, as the superintendent, I am part of the Chamber of Commerce, and I was asked to join one of their committees. And I am completely great with that. It's an education committee, so it totally makes sense for me to be on that committee. And I am always willing to serve others in whatever capacity that I can. And last but not least, you want to have consistent strength-based communication. Celebrate the great things that are happening in your building. Celebrate those wins often. Share those positive updates as consistently as you communicate concerns. And you want to start from day one doing that, before the school year ever starts, with some proactive positive outreach, which is going to set the tone, and it's going to build that trust, and it's going to build the collaboration with your community. And here's a leader tip. When I was PBIS at another school, we had a 4-to-1 ratio, 4 positives for every negative or corrective measure. And I think this works in every context. So you have 4 positives for every redirect or concern. Plus, people just want to know what's going great at your school. So here's some challenges and some solutions for those challenges. If you have time constraints, use some short micro engagement activities. If you have language barriers, use translation apps and multilingual staff. We happen to have someone on our staff who teaches Spanish, of course, and she can communicate with our Spanish-speaking families. If you have low turnout, personal invitations over mass emails, and use a hybrid model because you're going to get a better turnout that way. If there are trust issues, start with some listening sessions, not just presentations. Listen to your families and understand where they're coming from. If you have tech gaps, record some quick how to access whatever, our platform videos, or how to do whatever, make a payment videos, so people know how to do those things without having to reach out and ask every time. So here's your call to action. If you're listening right now, no matter what your role, pick 2 or 3 of these strategies to implement next semester. It's getting ready for Christmas break. You've got plenty of time to plan. Second semester, come in strong. Don't try to do all 10. Just do a couple so you can do them consistently. Ask yourself, where are our engagement strengths? What are our biggest gaps? What's one thing that we can do that would make families feel more connected right now? And hey, share your stories with me. Remember, you can text me by clicking on the link at the very top of the show notes. I would love to hear your take on this because I would love to share what you're doing in your building or your district. I love hearing what's working in other buildings, in other districts, because that's what we're here for, to help each other grow. And I can't do this all on my own. I would love your input and your wisdom. So click on that link and send me that information. Guys, family engagement, it's not an event, it's a culture. When families feel seen, when they feel valued, and they're invited into your district, into the work, students rise and your teachers can feel the difference. And I'm going to leave you with this little reminder from Ecclesiastes 4:9. 2 are better than 1 because they have a really good return for their labor. And I might have embellished just a little bit there. Partnership multiplies the impact. Have a great rest of your weekend, and I will see you back here next week. Bye-bye.